Excuse me, could we have an eel? You've got eels down your leg.
You leave them alone. Nothing down there of interest to you.
It's dark, sure, but funny? Yeah, I guess. I am the Wiz! Alright, everybody, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this review, please leave a like on the end of this video. And if you want to watch more, subscribe. I do 3 reviews a week on this channel. Alright, everybody, I am reviewing the 1987 cult classic to now classic comedy, Withnail and I, starring Richard E. Grant and Paul McGann, directed by Bruce Robinson. Alright, I'm going to start off this review by saying something kind of annoying, and that is that comedy is subjective. Yes, I know, how original, how refreshing, but I can't really grasp with much flowery language as to why Withnail and I wasn't the gut-busting, uproarious film that many claim it is for me. I mean, honestly, if you look at all the acclaim that it has gotten, it's on the Criterion Collection. It will be re-released soon, by the way. It's on the 1001 Movies to Watch Before You Die. Time Out thinks it's the 8th funniest film of all time, and that is ahead of films like South Park, Blazing Saddles, and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It was a cult hit at first, but then became a classic British comedy as time went on. This is a film that I have heard for a long time that is uproarious as a dark comedy, and I am sitting here at my computer saying, it's funny in parts, but it's not gut-busting hilarious. It's not something where I am going to be quoting it for time and time memorial. It's just a film where I was watching it going, yeah, I see how people find this funny. And yeah, I found some of it funny, but, you know. But in my defense, like I said, I still like Withnail and I. But I feel like I like it for different reasons than I think most do. And the way I like it is like a hybrid of a depressing story and fish out of water comedy. Basically, the film is about Withnail and he has a name in this movie, and I really cannot remember what it is. They're played by Richard E. Grant and Paul McGann. And it starts in their apartment, and I couldn't help but feel the filth and sadness that surround these two characters. They are living in this, like, broken down, messy... In these scenes, the film does attempt comedy, but I just couldn't really muster a laugh. And I think it's not because I think that they did a poor job on the comedy part. I was just looking at the surroundings going, how can I find any of this funny? This is so overwhelmingly depressing. And if you can laugh at it, great. Like, I can laugh at dark humor. Like, In Bruges, I reviewed it in December of last year. I thought was really funny despite its dark subject matter. But I just couldn't get past seeing the squalor that these two men are living in. But dramatically, I think, looking at them in their apartment, I think was incredibly effective just to see how terribly desperate they were. It really not only shows the bad spot that they are in, but it also shows very well why they are in such a bad spot and feeling like they can't get out of it. So even though I didn't find the apartment scenes all that funny, I think they were effective just to get a glimpse as to what these characters are like. Now, I did laugh at some parts of this film, and the two things that I found funny were Uncle Monty, who is played hilariously by Richard Griffiths, and the two main characters dealing with the country life so badly. And let's start with the fish out of water comedy in the country. I think watching these guys fumble around, trying to get food and wood provided most of the humor regarding these characters, especially when they are trying to get food, resulting in a funny sequence involving a riverbank and a shotgun. That scene is hilarious. But I think the funniest parts of the film have to deal with Uncle Monty. Monty is Withnail's gay uncle, who is overly theatrical and dramatic. And honestly, he has some of the best lines and scenes in the film. It's especially funny when he mistakenly takes Withnail's friends being attracted to him. And it results in probably some of the funniest scenes in the film when that character has to deal with Monty's overly enthusiastic advances. And again, I'm not saying Withnail and I is bad. In fact, I do like the film overall. But the only time I found the film humorous is when the film doesn't wallow in the muck with both characters' desperate situation. The only time that I found the film humorous is when they left the apartment and you forget how bad their life is when they are on their trip to the country. Well, okay, but let's be honest. You don't forget how bad their life is since Withnail is constantly drinking and just in a poor mental state throughout the entire film. But I can see why many adore this film. But I can just say I like the film with a chance that I'll watch it again and maybe get more out of it another time. So, yeah, I enjoyed the film. I liked it. I just didn't like it as much as others did. And That doesn't make it bad. It means that I guess I didn't see where the humor is that other people see in this film. But then again, this is a very old British film, and I'm an American, so maybe there's a bit of that as well. All right, so before I get into my rating, let's see what other people think about this film. Letterboxd users has it a 4.0 out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 93% fresh, and this did not receive any Oscar nominations at the time of its release. I'm giving this a 3 stars out of 5. Like I said, I didn't find it as gut-bustingly hilarious as I think a lot of people have. And I think that really has a lot to do with the fact that I just found the place that these guys were in so depressing that it was kind of hard to derive comedy from it. And we were in that depressing area. But when they get into the country and you kind of forget how bad their life is when I started to enjoy the film and started to find some of the humor in it. And Uncle Monty, played by Richard Griffiths, oh my God, he's hilarious. I think Richard Griffiths does the best job in this film. I think he is easily the most hilarious character in this film. I thought Withnail is pretty funny, Richard E. Grant in this, but honestly, I liked Uncle Monty the most in this film. So overall, 3 stars out of 5 for me for Withnail and I. It is on Max if you are interested in watching it. And I think it's going to be back on the Criterion Collection in May? I'm not sure. Alright guys, let me know what you think about the review. Yeah, like, comedy, of course, is subjective to many people, so let me ask you a question. Is there a comedy that is considered an all-time classic that you didn't find all that funny? Let me know in the comments, and let me know what you think of my review. Thank you for watching. See you guys next time.
Garlic, rosemary, and salt. I can never touch meat until it's cooked. As a youth, I used to weep in butcher shops.